The Entrepreneurial Hour is a weekly radio talk show hosted by Stephanie Cates and Robert Gultz that includes local South Florida business owners, subject matter experts, and industry leaders that recognize the need to share their knowledge with other businesses to help them start and grow their business. Join us Tuesday mornings, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, online at Radio Unilatina USA. Follow us on social media at #The Entrepreneurial Hour.
That's right. You're with the Entrepreneurial Hour. This is Robert Goltz. My co-host is on her way in. She should be here any minute with Stephanie Cates. And today we have a great program lined up for you. We're going to be talking with the city of Miramar and why you should be doing business in the city of Miramar and some of the opportunities that will be there. With me today, we have the mayor of the city of Miramar, Mayor Wayne Messam. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, Robert. How are you?
I am doing great. And then we also have Eric Silva. He's the Director of Community and Economic Development Department at the City of Miramar. So we're going to just dive right in today. And this first section is we want to talk about, Mayor, I'm going to direct it to you right off the bat. Tell us all the great reasons why a business should locate in Miramar and some of the things that substantiate those reasons to come to Miramar.
Thanks, Robert, and good morning to your listening audience. And there's many reasons why a business should come to the city of Miramar. Of course, I'm biased, but I'd like to just share some unbiased statistics. When you think about the city of Miramar, located just on the southern border of Broward County, we are basically 30 minutes from everywhere. You can access all three counties from our city within perhaps a 30-minute drive. We have access to I-75, the Turnpike, all the major thoroughfares. And what's most attractive to the city of Miramar and why we're the home to more Fortune 500 companies than any city in the Tri-County area is our distance. We're equidistant from both international airports, MIA and Fort Lauderdale International Airport. We're equidistant from Port of Miami and Port Everglades. So from a logistics and export-import standpoint, businesses who have South Florida and the Caribbean and Latin America as their target audience have a talent base as well as proximity and flexibility and options to be able to reach those destinations. And when you think about our city, we're very flexible in terms of permitting, being progressive in terms of understanding the needs of our business community. And when you combine all of those elements together, it's no surprise why small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and large major international corporations have found Miramar to be a great home for them.
And it is a great home. I'm a little biased on that also since I live in the city of Miramar. And so, the city of Miramar didn't just happen. And it's been years of planning and creating an atmosphere where you have a big city that doesn't look like a big city. It really doesn't. That's why I love living in the city of Miramar. You still feel that very rural feel when you're driving down our streets and I know that came out of planning years ago with economic development. And Eric, I'd like to go to you with that and talk a little bit about the feel that you get when you come into the city of Miramar.
Thank you, Robert. Robert, I think you're right. It does have that big city feel with all the industries out of there and the jobs that are in the city, but it still has that suburban family feel. I'd call it a suburban feel, not a rural feel.
I'm looking for some corn and stuff like that later on in life.
But the way it was developed, the city is kind of unique because it was master planned with a city center that's about 55 acres, but that city center is also surrounded by a regional activity center, about 2,000 acres, which is basically the main center for commerce and jobs. There's over 6 million square feet in just this plaza where we are right now, just this Commerce Park where we are. So that's the job center, one of the job centers. And the second job center is out by I-75. And there's industrial, office, and retail located there. And then the third is over in the eastern part of the city, what we like to call historic Miramar, along 441, basically from University Drive to 441. And that's an area we're focusing redevelopment on. So you've got basically three different hubs of activity, and you've got the residential spread out throughout the city, throughout the 15-mile length. And it's different types of residential. which is also different because a lot of cities just have detached single family or they have high intensity, but we've got all different types of housing, which is also very important for attracting businesses and families.
Yeah, and one of the great things, and when we're talking about the city of Miramar, one of the things that I want to kind of focus on, how many great outside companies have been looking in to relocate here to Miramar, and also how many actually have, and some of the big names that we had. And I know, Mayor, you love to talk about some of the great things that are going on here. If you can give us just, you know what, I'm not typically a name dropper, but I want you to drop some names of who's looking to locate here and who's already located here that makes the city of Miramar a great place.
Well, I'll start with the companies that have already come here. In terms of companies looking here, a lot of times it's sensitive. Companies don't like to reveal that they're interested in relocating because obviously the disruption it causes when they do leave other markets. But however, we do have some household names. When you think about companies like Carnival Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Spirit Airlines is headquartered here in the city of Miramar, and they've just announced their second expansion. They relocated here, expanded once they got here, and just recently, within the last couple of months, announced that they will be expanding further in the city of Miramar. So it's great to see national companies, international companies now come here, but not only come here, but they continue to grow and expand. Other companies like Comcast, Target, Home Depot, Humana. We have fast-growing Floridian-based companies like 3Z Telecom, which is the fastest growing telecommunications company in Florida, and United Data Technologies, which is one of the largest privately held IT companies in the country, that are building currently right now, will be soon having ribbon cuttings of their new headquarter facilities. So we've been very fortunate and very blessed to have these companies. And one thing I would also add is that some of our neighboring cities that we have great and wonderful relationships with in the region, many of them had an approach more to go to big box retail in terms of what occupies their commercial space. In the city of Miramar, we've strategically went more industrial, light industrial, office. So when you think about our economic activity, we have a lot of high-paying jobs with a lot of large, medium, and small-sized companies that are providing, a great quality of life for our residents.
And in that development of those large companies, you wouldn't even notice that, except for the praises that you get and being able to announce that. But when you look in this area through the development of this area, again, you don't see where. As I grew up, when you saw industrial areas, it was building by building by building, and it wasn't attractive. Even the industrial areas in Miramar are still very attractive just to drive around and enjoy. And so it says a lot about the area and what you're looking to accomplish. And as you go over to I-75 to see that area, that retail area, continue to develop and grow. It's always been a great aspect. While I've been here, I've been able to watch various restaurants and various retail move in and start populating. What are some of the things that you guys are looking for now for the future that would kind of fill in some gaps that we might have here in Miramar? Not that I can think of any, but you guys know better than I do.
Well, I think right now, and Eric can expand more on this, where we are focused now is the redevelopment of historic Miramar. We have perhaps about $100 million of capital improvement in historic Miramar, and that is the original home, or the original city of Miramar. We were incorporated in 1955. So we're improving stormwater drainage. We're building a police substation. We are currently renovating our East Water Treatment Plant to have a state-of-the-art water treatment plant. So when developers and investors are seeing that the city is investing in public safety investing in our engineering and infrastructure to support development. It makes us very attractive when they compare the city of Miramar to other options in other municipalities. And I am of the belief that we have a very strong central and western business anchors in terms of our community. And when we continue to put that investment in the historic east side of Miramar, it will just complete the city. So whether if you're a small mom and pop, a medium-sized company that serves as supply chain to some of the major corporations, or if you're a national company, you will have 13 linear miles in our city to entertain in terms of where you want to set up. And long and short of is that whether you're small or large, I want our economy to be self-sustaining. There's no reason why our national and international companies should outsource IT software to India or to Virginia or to San Francisco. We want to make sure that we attract, the supply chain and those support businesses that support these national companies so that our mom and pops, our medium-sized and national-sized companies are all thriving and being very successful.
Excellent. Eric, you want to add on to that?
Well, in addition to the efforts in the eastern part of the city, we hear we could use more restaurants. People ask us for more restaurants in the city, more family-oriented activities, whether it's a movie theater. But unfortunately, Pembroke Pines just got a movie theater at the new mall. So we did have somebody visiting us right before that got approved. They were going to put one at Town Center, but
when you talk about restaurants, what I love about the city of Miramar is the diversity of restaurants that you get here, from the east side all the way through the west. You have some phenomenal mom and pop restaurants, which you don't see in South Florida that often. You see now when you get into Miami, you see a lot of Cuban restaurants and things like that, but you don't see a lot of the different types of restaurants that Miramar has, going from the east side all the way across, where some of them even look like they're franchised and they're not. I think of some more on the west side. So you guys have a lot of flavor going on in the city of Miramar. Another question that I have before we take our break, when we're looking at growth in the city of Miramar, where are we seeing the major growth pattern for businesses right now? Is it in the industrial? Is it in the retail? Is there one area that's dominating over another right now as we're seeing area being taken up, Eric?
I would say the strongest businesses are the industrial and the office. The city of Miramar has about 9 million square feet of industrial and about 3.2 million square feet of office in the city, and we continue to see high demand for those two different types of businesses. Just to give you an example, we had a project out by I-75 in the industrial plaza behind Boat Campers and the Home Depot there, and they had to stop the project. It was an interior renovation, and within a month, that property owner had 3 offers for someone else who wanted to buy the building. And it's a huge building, a couple 100,000 square feet. So the demand is very high for industrial and office.
And you have some great retail companies working for you, like Sunbeam Properties, who continues to grow and look ahead of the market. That's what I love watching about Sunbeam. We'll see them. I love coming to commission meetings and planning and zoning meetings when they're looking at building a new building, and I'm like going, what kind of building is that? I haven't seen that size go up and that, but Sunbeam Properties and the Anson family really have looked at their market and been able to do some really unique and innovative things with bringing in industrial and retail to the area.
Yeah, and unlike a lot of cities, Sunbeam and the city of Miramar still have a lot of vacant land. Yeah. Right next to us here at Town Center, there's over 125 acres that are vacant. So we still have a big opportunity there, great opportunity. 125
acres out there, folks. If you're looking to build something great, this is the place to be. We're going to take a short break after we got for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and we'll be right back with the Entrepreneurial Hour.
The Entrepreneurial Hour with Stephanie Cates and Robert Goltz.
International College with a campus in Miramar, Florida, is a boutique college with an applied, cutting-edge holistic education model. Business, tourism, and communication students not only develop their field intellectual skills, but also are empowered to become holistic professionals through yoga, self-empowerment, Tai Chi courses, and more. Sign up to become a holistic professional at unilatina.edu or call 954-607-5400. 888-848-4344.
We're back. We're back with the Entrepreneurial Hour, and we're talking with my hometown, the city of Miramar, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the investment that the city has made over the years to really, it's one place to work someplace. It's another whole aspect to be able to say you have a great place to play in also. And so we want to talk about that, and we want to talk about safety and the investments that the city of Miramar has made in its community to make it a great place to be. And so you know what, I'm going to start off with the safety aspect, Mayor, and the aspect that you briefly talked about on the historic side, that you're putting in a police substation there, but you just got done doing in the last couple of years a major investment in the police station right across from the city hall. And so can we talk a little bit about that? Because I've had the luxury of walking in there and seeing some things in action there, and I am just amazed by what we put together there.
Yes, we're very proud of our brand new, we still call it brand new police station. It was received a LEED Gold certification, which is one of the highest sustainable and construction certifications you can receive, which basically means we save a lot of energy. It was built with the environment in mind, and we're very proud of that. In 2005, when Wilma came through the city of Miramar, our old police headquarters sustained major destruction, and we had to abandon the building. So we spent a few years actually trying to locate the best location for the new headquarters, and with that we ultimately decided to build it right at Town Center. So when you look at the public safety, it's the cornerstone of any civilized community. And when you have a safe community, and when you give your public safety professionals the best facility and the best resources to protect the community and to prevent crime and to promote harmonious living in our community, that is a very big selling point, and we're very proud of our police station.
And what I enjoy and why I live in the city of Miramar is also the staffing that you have. But let's talk, I just want to say one thing about the police department also. You don't even realize the police department's really there. Other than a few cars out front, all the other cars are out doing their job and all your staff. But inside, what I also, and I bring this up because we're in hurricane season right now, is you have a great operations center. And I was able to go over during one of their test runs and things, and to watch the staff, and I've been lucky to work with the staff over the last 7 years on various things, to see your staff in action and know that you have some of the best, whether it be police and other areas. I feel very confident, as I did when we went through the storm this past year, that things are secure and I'm going to know what's going on in my community to take care of my family. And I want to thank you for that, because that's an investment from the commission and the budget process for that. So we also have a substation going into the historic district. Talk a little bit about that, and then I want to talk about entertainment also.
Yes, just off of Wildcat Way, just east of the Turnpike. When you cross Miramar Parkway, crosses over on the Turnpike on Wildcat Way. We are currently in the process of building a substation on our historic side of town. One of the unique challenges for the city of Miramar is that the shape of our city. When you look at our physical corporate limits, we're 13 miles east to west, and about another 1.5 to 2 miles in certain areas from north to south. So we're a very linear community, and when you think about that, that provides just logistical challenges for a police department. Instead of being a square or a circle where you have a central area that you can just disperse from a center point, we have to cover a large area. So having that substation in the historic side of town reduces response time, as well as provide a sense of security for the residents and the businesses in our historic side of town, that the community actually has a physical place where not only will you have officers there, but there's a community room where organizations and residents can have meetings in that facility. So we're really excited about the historic Miramar precinct.
And even going farther into that, one thing that your police department also does is you engage your community, whether it be volunteers to help, but also I know the police department's just about to do, I think it's a 6 to 8 week course on helping businesses better secure their location, and also what to look for theft and how to secure their location, and also active shooting, all that. Those are trainings that your police department's doing. It's not even, I know we're partnering with the police department, but the police department initiated this over the last couple of years to help out the business community specifically, to make sure we are in the know of how to take care of things. And if you want to talk a little bit about that, feel free.
Yes, Chief Williams, Dexter Williams, is doing a great job with his command staff and our officers in the Miramar Police Department, and being proactive and really embracing 21st century policing methods in the city of Miramar, and to add this component to educate our business community on things to look for in terms of theft, data security, active shooters. It's important for us to ensure that the public is aware and things to look out for, because oftentimes we rely on the public input and notification on certain issues, and the more alert and the more prepared the public is, and specifically our business community, because these are the places where our residents and visitors congregate, where they come. They're places of destination where we have dozens and even hundreds of people in one location, where if someone who thinks or wishes to do some harm to a location or to us, with those business owners knowing exactly what to look out for, and if something was to happen, action steps that they can take. It is a matter of saving lives and being able to alert the police department, or even better yet, even prevent an issue from even happening. And it's just a matter of the police department apprehending what would have been, a suspect who have committed a terrible crime.
Yeah, with that communication that the city of Miramar has brought together, one of the other things on the chamber side, as I look at it, it helps us also get back up and running, because most people don't realize that when a city goes through a disaster, the faster the business community can get up, the faster life becomes natural and moves in a pace that we all can work with again. So I know during the storm, your people were in contact with the business community trying to get us all up and running, because you knew that once the restaurants and all that, then people aren't going, oh, what's going on? The whole world's coming to a collapse. No, I can go to McDonald's today. I can go out shopping. I can go to Home Depot, and things move very quickly. And I know your guys were out there cleaning roads very early in the morning, right after the storm. Let's go a little bit, as we're talking to this, to the growth in this. Let's talk about entertainment, because you've made some big investment over the last couple of years with the amphitheaters, 2 amphitheaters, and you also have the cultural center and things of that nature. And it's a great piece to have a good quality of life. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of those investments and some of the new investments you also have coming up down the road.
Yes. Well, in terms of the city of Miramar, we're poised to offer many offerings, because as you spoke about our growth, I mean, our city at one point was one of the fastest growing cities in the country during the 2000s with our expansive growth. But with that growth, it totally changed the complexion of our city, because our city doubled in size, and we're now approaching 140,000 residents. But with that, now that you have all of these new residents, they have desires, and I think the average age in our city is 33, 34 years old, and what that means is a lot of young families and individuals who want to be entertained but don't want to necessarily have to go to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or West Palm, to have recreational entertainment or just adult entertainment or entertainment for their children. So we recently opened a state-of-the-art amphitheater. It has a capacity of 5,000. It's the only covered amphitheater in South Florida. We've already had many national and international artists to perform there. We have many festivals that are on the books that are coming. And with the unique venue, it provides a venue where it's not too large, but it's large enough so that you can attract, household names where people would like to go and see those artists. artists. And what's so great about it, it's located right at our Miramar Regional Park. It's a 170-acre park, and right in the heart of West Miramar, just west of I-75. And what it has provided us an opportunity is to help Broward County solve one of their challenges. We have the lovely beaches in Broward County, and there's a big desire to expand tourism to the Sawgrass out west where we are. And we have been a great partner, and the CVB has been a great partner with us. They see the potential in expanding cultural tourism, and we've had a great relationship with the CVB to attract many conferences. Just last week, I'm the national president of the Black Caucus of Local Elected Officials, and we brought elected officials over from all over the country, and we had a concert at the amphitheater with local artists as well as with national artist. That headline was Howard Hewitt, R&B performer, and it was just a wonderful event. And without that venue, that wouldn't be possible. So, and in closing, when businesses look at a location, not only are they looking at logistics, not only are they looking at the human resource and the talent that's in a community, they want to know, okay, if we come here, how are the schools? How are the parks? What will be the quality of life of our employees that live here? Will they be happy here? Because if our employees are happy with the schools, happy with recreation, then they'll be better employees because they'll be happy when they come to work. Well,
and they're also now looking more that their employees are located closer, where they don't have to drive cities away for their employees to come back and forth to make their life a little bit easier. With that, we also have the amphitheater in the historic district. I know the commission makes sure that if we're doing one thing we got to do something on historic, and that's, so many cities make the mistake of letting their historic districts, their early development districts, just fall. And that has not been the case in the city of Miramar. I said at meeting after meeting that you all are going, hey, we need to be doing something in the historic side, whether it be streetscapes and things of that nature. Can we talk a little bit about the development that's going on and the work that's been going over the last couple of years in the historic district? I'll shoot that to you, Eric.
Okay. Some of the work as far as economic development is concerned, we established a team of staff that go out into the neighborhoods and meet with all the business owners. We've basically met with every business owner from University Drive to 441, and we've gone in there with a packet of information that helps them market their business. We take computers with us. We help them to get onto Google to market their business. We tell information about grant programs, county and city programs, give information about the procurement department to get business with the city. So small business owners, it's difficult for them to come to our office and meet with us. We found this approach to be very effective to give them information about the city and get them to improve their business or add new equipment to their business.
And one of the things, Bob, you're mentioning about doing, ensuring that there's equity across the community. A few years ago, but that wasn't necessarily the case, because residents and business owners would come to commission meeting and say, look, so much is going in Central and West Miramar, and we feel like, we've been forgotten. So the city commission and our staff has worked together to address many of those concerns. And currently, right now, we're in the process of adopting a Miramar Economic Development Initiative, where it will allow flexibility for the city to create an economic development fund where we can apply special resources. So whether if you're a small business, we're looking at offering mom and pop grants. If you may need help with marketing or perhaps technical assistance or training. Currently, right now, we do have some assistance with that, for that, but it's very limited, as well as some of the other resources are kind of tied to the federal regulations in terms of the funding that comes through CDBG, Community Development Block Grants. But by having our own economic development fund, we can be much more creative. We can specifically cater resources specific for our residents. And finally, Miramar, we have a transit-oriented corridor along 441, and it extends west to, I think, about 64th Avenue. And that provides a great opportunity for developers because it already locks in entitlements in terms of zoning for those developers. They know exactly what they can do. They know the density. So we really look forward to perhaps maybe having another segment in terms of what that looks like and how the investment and development community can take advantage of it.
Excellent. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we want to talk about incentives. And not only big incentives, because I know that's a big draw, and I know we'll talk a little bit about that, but also the small things that you're doing for the mom and pop, because you guys really are doing some very unique, offering some very unique opportunities for businesses to grow here in Miramar. So we'll be back.
Uni Latina International College offers an English as a second language program for international students. UIC's high qualified ESL teachers help students develop and master the English speaking and comprehension skills needed for both work and pleasure. Our ESL program also focuses on cultural adaptation through fun field trips and cultural experiences. Start your journey today at unilatina.edu/ESL or call 954-607-4344.
The Entrepreneurial Hour, shining light on the Tri-Chamber members.
And we're back. We're talking with the City of Miramar with Mayor Wayne Messam and Eric Silva with the Community and Economic Development Department. We want to talk about incentives now. And I think what we'll do, we'll start from big and go down to small in these 15 minutes. But I know that you have some great partnerships, and the one thing I do know about the City of Miramar, you do take advantage of those partnerships on both the county and the state level with incentives. And so we'll start off with that. Let's talk about big business. What are we doing to attract big business, and why?
Well, Miramar, as you mentioned, we really love the incentive program, especially when we can leverage our dollars with the dollars from the state and the county, especially as it relates to target industries. Your aviation, information technology, medical, all of those qualifying industries, because those are fast-growing sectors that helps to diversify our state's economy beyond tourism. And Miramar has been perhaps the most aggressive city in Broward County. In fact, I'll tip my hat off to Eric and his team over at our economic development team. They were recently named, Economic Development Partner of the Year. I think we're the only city to receive that award, and it just goes to show that we have some great individuals that are working to work with our counterparts that help to bring these deals in. So when a company is looking to relocate, we know that the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance, one of the first cities that they do call is Miramar, because they know, one, we know what we're doing, we have a great location, and they know that we will be as flexible as possible to try to make the deal work.
Excellent. Eric, do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, just to add on to what the mayor mentioned earlier about the Economic Development Fund, one of the key initiatives of that fund is going to be to help small business owners. A lot of times small business owners go in and they rent out a shell space and they want to retrofit the interior, and their rent starts running right away. So as they're doing those interior renovations, they've got to pay for that as well as paying for their rent, and they're not getting any income. So through our new Economic Development Fund, we're going to have the option to help those business owners with their interior build-outs, to build out their restaurant space, to put in their kitchens, their counters, whatever they need to do. So that will help attract more small businesses to Miramar for sure.
Excellent. And I know on the state level, there's been a big push these last couple of years regarding the offering these incentives, and there's a lot of people that are naysayers saying, hey, we shouldn't be paying for these incentives to be going on. And what I have seen is, for a lot of these businesses, and I think how Miramar does it is very right in the process. It's not only the incentive that you're providing. The incentive is to bring them here, but long term, we see tax implications down the road that we're saving money. But what I like about the city of Miramar, you also put in typically, and I don't know if it's with all of them, when you're doing the employment aspect, you say, hey, if you come here and you employ Miramar residents, we're also going to help you out. And that gives a better feel for our area, that our local residents are also being employed and taken care of, where we're not just saying, hey, bring your office here, but yeah, you can employ everybody from every other city around, and it's not really benefiting our local community. You've really done, and I've been a critic at times, because I'm looking at sometimes when we're doing construction building, or we're putting these rules and regulations on some of the business, and I'm like going, how are they ever going to fill these requirements? But you've been able to work with Career Source Broward and others to help the business. So let's talk a little bit about that other side, the side that people say, hey, you shouldn't be doing incentives. Tell me, Mayor, how has that actually helped our budget by being able to do that? It may not help us the first year, but down the road, talk about how those incentives definitely help out the city of Miramar.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. You want to be as amenable and attractive to business partners and business residents that will come to your city as possible. But on the other side, there are other competing interests and competing needs for city resources. And basically, it could be characterized basically as corporate welfare, to come in, to receive dollars to move to the city if they meet certain conditions. But one thing I'll say first is that our incentives are performance-based.
Correct.
We may say, okay, you get X number of dollars for every hire, but not only do you have to hire them, but you have to keep them hired for 5 years. And then once you do that, then you qualify. So it's performance-based. So there's
and what employer is going to let an employee go after 5 years of investing in them?
Exactly. So the thing is that we want the public to know that first, it's not a bait and switch. They get the money, change their minds, then no. Once they come in, make the investment, hire our residents, and after a certain 5-year period of time, then they qualify. In 5 years, if you look at the economic turnover of activity by that business, by being in the city, the property taxes they pay, all of the other permits that they have to pull, and just the fact that their employees are being paid and are living in our city, and they're paying a mortgage, and they're, you look at the economic impact. If we were to do a study on this, I'm sure it would be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So what we pay in taxes for this incentive pales to what the overall economic impact would be.
And what other people don't realize too is that a commercial building has a higher rate to pay taxes too. So that money's kind of cycling in a great way.
Not only that, and what is often left out, commercial buildings, industrial buildings cost less to serve. We aren't getting as many police calls and fire rescue calls from these businesses. It's the residential properties that get all those calls.
Exactly, and I'm going to go over to Eric on this. One of the things that your department's been very good about is going through and planning and zoning, creating rules and regulations for our community as these businesses grow. Just so people understand, planning and zoning is mostly for commercial business in the rules and regulations. And so over the years, your department has created rules and regulations for health and safety, sprinkler systems, things of that nature. And when I talk to the fire department, they say the same thing. They go, you know what? The old days of fire are kind of to the wayside as much. Our main focus now is emergency services. We are, when you're sick, when you have that heart attack, we're there. We don't do a lot of fires because a lot of where commercial buildings used to catch on fire, and restaurants and things, because of planning and zoning, your rules and regulations have subsided in that, where these buildings are now more safer to be in. But it's kind of funny, you guys get a bad rap, and I feel sorry for you because, whether it be sign ordinances and things of that nature, people don't understand, especially mom and pops sometimes when they come in, that these rules and regulations help us to remain and keep the community that we have, the look and feel. And so one of the things I have fun with is when businesses come in, and because we have this Mediterranean look and feel, and you see a McDonald's, you see a Chili's, you see a Texas Roadhouse move into the area, I have to deal with them all the time and going, oh, don't worry, you're still going to do a lot of business here, but it's not going to have the same look, that Texas Roadhouse, as it does in Michigan or Texas or some other state. It's going to feel, but our people are not going to realize that. You're still going to have a good look that's yours, but it fits in. So when we go through our community, it's just a beautiful community. So Eric, I want to talk to you a little bit. Have you talk a little bit about some of the, not only the things that you've done in planning and zoning and rules and regulations to help the community, but also let's talk a little bit about some of those smaller incentives for small business as we're talking here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to go back to your point on fire and safety are an important part of the process, and we've recently added fire staff to the building department, so they're on the same floor now, so we can expedite some of those reviews that we're talking about when you're trying to explain the issues related to safety and how we can make it happen faster and get those businesses opening faster. So that's an important improvement that we just started a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And you have one day, is it Thursday that I can't remember? Tuesday.
Yes.
Tuesday you have, explain it to me because I will say it so wrong for businesses.
Every Tuesday morning, and it's actually more for residential development. Mm-hmm. If you have a residential application for, if it's a fence or a patio or a roof, a small type project, not in addition to your house, but you can come in on Tuesday mornings, drop off that application, and the permit will be approved later in the afternoon, or you pick it up the next day. So it's same day service, and it's been very, very popular on Tuesdays.
And so if I'm a business and I'm coming into the city of Miramar, who should I really talk to help me walk through some of the processes? Is it your department? Well, now you cover the whole floor, so you've got everything over there. But is there an individual or a small team that I could work with? And let's talk a little bit about some of those incentives, because a lot of small business people don't know these services are out there, and by the time they've gotten themselves into a hole, it's a lot of backing out, whether they got the wrong construction people, the wrong What should a person do if I'm starting a mid-sized business? Who should I come and talk to, and what do you offer in services?
Yeah, before you sign a lease with anybody, the first thing I would do is call the city to check the zoning, to make sure that use is permitted before you sign any documents. But then we have that team of people that goes out into the field and meets with the business owners, and they also explain the services in the office, which include, we have a commercial facade program, which is to improve the outside look of the building, whether it's to add awnings or new windows or even just paint the building. So that program, we just revised it to require a much lower match from the owner. So the city puts in a little bit more money for those smaller projects, and the owner can get those things to happen faster. We also have a program called the Micro Enterprise Program, and you can use that program to hire new employees or buy equipment.
And you find it very, I know the city of Miramar has had a very dedicated aspect to small businesses, or job businesses, where you believe training and expanding their resources is not only about coming to the city, but I know with the chamber you have a program that you spend $150 for their first year membership, but I know you also have trainers. You guys have done training with Google and marketing and all kinds of different things just to help the business itself to continue to market themselves, to move forward, where a lot of communities have your department, and your department is known for only two things. One, let's do permitting, and then two, let's make sure that permitting continues to stay intact with other permits down the road. You guys aren't that way. You spend a lot of time in the community. As you talk, you have your team going out to talk about different marketing techniques. You help in educate. Tell me a little bit about some of the other programs that you guys are offering for your business.
We usually partner with Broward County organization called SCORE to help new businesses come up with a business plan, because you find a lot of times that people they may love to cook. Someone open a restaurant, but they're not that familiar with the financial aspect of things, or they don't recognize that opening a restaurant, for example, you need a lot of capital to get it started and to kind of ride it out for a little bit until you attract that base of customers. And sometimes they fail. So if you can establish a good business plan and meet with somebody who's done it before, that definitely helps a lot.
Excellent. We're going to take another break, and then we'll be closing up with some final ideas, and we're going to talk a little bit about sports within the city of Miramar. I know Mayor Messam is a sports enthusiast and much more. So we'll come back to you in just a couple minutes.
Unilatina International College with campus in Miramar, Florida is a boutique college with an applied, cutting-edge, holistic education model. Business, tourism, and communication students not only develop their field intellectual skills, but are also empowered to become holistic professionals and human beings through yoga, self-empowerment, holistic human development courses, and more. Sign up to become a holistic professional at unilatina.edu or call 954-607-4344.
The Entrepreneurial Hour is sponsored by the Miramar Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Western Florida Chamber of Commerce, and the Pembroke Park, West Park Chamber of Commerce. The Entrepreneurial Hour is a weekly radio talk show hosted by Stephanie Cates and Robert Gultz that includes local South Florida business owners, subject matter experts, and industry leaders that recognize the need to share their knowledge with other businesses to help them start and grow their business. Join us Tuesday mornings, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, online at Radio Unilatina USA. Follow us on social media at #The Entrepreneurial Hour.
Well, I just got some news here. My co-host isn't coming in today, and we're in our last segment, and we just found out that she's still in Colorado. So, Stephanie, if you're listening, I'm wishing you well with your family out there. So let's talk about something else about life within the great city of Miramar, and let's talk about sports. And I know, Mayor, you are a sportsman, you're a football player, and all that. But let's talk about what's going on here in Miramar, because a lot of people don't realize some of the great things that we have sports-wise in the city of Miramar. And let's start off with Anson Field and talk a little bit about that.
Well, the Anson Sports Complex is perhaps one of the nation's premier sports parks in any city of our size. When it was built, the track facility there was only one of two. The other was in Beijing, China, where Usain Bolt broke the world record. And now there may be another 6 or 7 that have come online since. But we're very proud of that facility. In fact, we have had some international champions, youth, to come out of that facility just recently. Brianna Williams is the U20 AFF international champion in the 100 and 200. It was the fastest 15-year-old ever, as well as at the age of 16 is competing against world-class sprinters. And she represents the country of Jamaica, but lives and trains here. Parents are from Jamaica, and if you really think about it, to have a choice to run for USA or Jamaica in track, you can't go wrong, because those are the two biggest track powerhouses in the world.
Excellent. And that field, it's right next door, right across the street from my house. So throughout the year, all I'm hearing is announcing going on for a full day to 2 days. And not only do we have some great athletics going on the track, but we have individuals, from what I've been told, that baseball players, football players from all over the nation that live here during off season and utilize our facilities. And we have 2 gyms that we have out there. And let's talk a little bit about each one of them and some of the nuances that they have, because I know each one has a little bit of a specialty to them.
Yeah. Well, and further on, just continuing with Anson, we recently added a training facility there, state-of-the-art training facility with weights, plyometric equipment, and that's why it's so attractive for professional athletes and clubs to come in. The thought process is, there are many national countries in Europe and other places of the world that can't train when they need to be training, especially outdoors during the off season, and in South Florida becomes an attractive place for them to be able to train, as well as because of our track facility. When we have meets there, qualifying times times run there are qualifying times for international meets, and many times they are able to capitalize on some of the track meets that are there to get qualifying time so that they can go on to compete in other areas. As mentioned, we have our Vernon E. Hargrave Youth Enrichment Center on a historic side of town. It has a wonderful tennis courts there, hard court, clay courts, as well as the facility itself has an indoor gym, a boxing ring, weight rooms, and our residents come in for a nominal fee, can go in and use it as a membership club to go and work out and train, as well as we have our youth basketball programs that go on there, and we also have great tennis that takes place. place. And we also have another gym at our Sunset Lakes Community Center, which is out west in Miramar. And that facility is wonderful as well. It has a banquet hall facility. It has other meeting rooms, a gym as well that has membership. And we also have our Miramar Vales program, which is our VPK program for early childhood learning, is also located there. So we just have some wonderful facilities in the city of Miramar, and we could not be blessed. And most recently, the city of Miramar signed a lease agreement with the American Tennis Association, which is a 100-year-old institute, the home where black tennis players went as families to play national competitions. Back in those days when there was segregation, they could not participate in the USTA, and they had their member institution, which has birthed international stars like Arthur Ashe, Althea Gibson. The Williams sisters came up through some of their national tournaments when they were youth with their father, Richard Williams. So when you think about a 100-year-old institution like that to move to South Florida, to Miramar, to move not only their headquarters, but to build a tennis arena. I think the tennis arena is planned to be about 2,000 seats with another 19 or 20 courts around it. And what that does is, for the region, it allows our youth, regardless of age, race, ability, if you have a child that is developing well in our park system, at our tennis, and our several tennis complexes across the city, the gap that we had was we had no option for high performance tennis. Tennis is one of those sports that is very cost prohibitive, and it's a barrier. And if families don't have the resources or the time to travel to Tennessee for this tournament or to New York for the next week's tournament, then that basically wipes out the option for that child to be able to compete against high performing competitors. By bringing the ATA here, we now will be able to offer USTA training for trainers, because there's a relationship with the ATA and USTA now. And we have a place locally where these kids can compete and train. And it's just a wonderful opportunity for the city of Miramar. And it's another one of those examples where we've partnered with Broward County and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, because for the last decade, the ATA has been having their national tournaments in Broward County. And they've had over a $10 million economic impact just in the 2 months that they're here training and playing in that tournament. So they're on board with us, with the county. We have county support, we have the city support, and we're just really excited. And currently right now, they're in, the foundation is in a fundraising campaign right now to completely raise all of their money for the facility. It was announced last year where Venus and Serena donated $1 million in honor of their father towards the campaign, and you can contact the city, and we can provide you information. If your listening audience is interested in supporting this effort, they can provide opportunities in how they can support.
Well, and also throughout your city, our city, we have a lot of great parks, and we do have great youth sports programs through various organizations. And what's funny about this, when we started talking, we're 13 miles by 1.5, and we're cramming all these types of things, these great programs and things for the people, our residents, and still making it work. And it doesn't look crowded. It's nice, free flowing. Some of these places, most people don't even exist. And as we're a transient area, I know that's very difficult for people going, oh, I didn't even know this was in my backyard. I went to this city to go for that service, and trying to get that message out to get more people here and working. The other as we're closing up in the next couple minutes, I want to talk about a little bit about the view from the mayor and the commission about providing events and services. And I know you have your health day, and we have the Halloween and different things of that nature. And many of our residents don't realize these things are available to them, and that the city's really trying to make sure, this is, again, another thing that I like about Miramar. We are a big city. However, we still do a lot of that small city stuff that a lot of big cities have gotten away from. And so let's talk a little bit about how do people get more involved in what's going on in the city of Miramar?
The first thing I would tell the listening audience, visit miramarfl.gov. Miramarfl, as in Florida, .gov. Just scroll to the bottom of the page, and there's a button on there to say sign up for notifications. I implore you to do that because you can customize your notification if you want to learn about public safety announcements, parks and recs, economic development, your choice. We have dozens of options, and you will get, I'll also encourage you to, when you customize your options, make sure to select to receive the city's newsletter. Every Sunday, you can put your bottom dollar between 6 and 8 o'clock p.m. You will get a newsletter emailed to your email box, and it is a consolidated, basically, bulletin board that tells you everything that's going on in the city, and you will not miss any of the events and resources from the various departments. And if you do that, then you'll be plugged in.
And folks, I'm going to tell you the thing that I love most about that newsletter getting it every Sunday. It is easy to read. It is not a newspaper. Mm-hmm. It is flyer on top of flyer, little bits of information that I take probably 15 minutes to go through, and I have the whole week and then some planned out for that. But the benefit also is when you're signing up for these newsletters, you get to pick what you want. So you're not he told you a bunch of different categories. If you're a business owner, you should be signing up for the economic development piece. This is information that is geared towards you, and that's something that Miramar has a great communications department to get you information, and we want to make sure that you're getting that information in a timely fashion. But business leaders, don't think that you're out of the way. Eric and his team give a lot of information about different things that are going on for economic development, how to help your business, and permitting, and all that information on these newsletters. Also, one last thing, and I'll let Mary, you plug it. You also have a television program going on. Tell us a little bit about that. It's out, I think, on Tuesdays now.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And that's another area that they can get a little glimpse of what's going on, including the Facebook page and all the social media that you guys are doing.
Yes, our Office of Marketing and Public Relations Department has a program that starts, I think it's 10 o'clock on Tuesdays and every Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can get it on, I think it's on YouTube as well as some other platforms. And if you go to our miramarfl.gov, you can see the link for it. And what I really like about it, since this is a business radio program, they feature many local businesses on that program. And if you call our Office of Marketing and Public Relations, let them know about your business, and so that they know that you're out there and you exist and you have an interest to talk about something unique that you, or maybe some special. It's not for an infomercial, but it's basically you'll be interviewed about your business, what you know about the city, if you have any interesting products that the public should know about. I think it's a great opportunity to showcase your business as well as for the city to know who you are.
Excellent. So we're just about to close up. If Mayor and Eric, if you guys can just give people your information, so if they need to contact you, and then I'll wrap it up right after that. So we'll start off with you, Mayor Messam.
Yes, for those individuals that would like to contact me, I'm very interactive on social media. It's Wayne Messam, and that's on Instagram and Twitter. On Facebook, I'm Mayor Wayne Messam. So feel free to contact me, and my email address is wmessam, MESSAM, at miramarfl.gov.
Eric?
Okay, for any questions about planning, zoning, economic development, you can contact me at my email address, ebsilva, SILVA, at miramarfl.gov, or you can find me on the website.
Again, it's my pleasure to have both of you here today for the Entrepreneur Hour. And everybody, just keep tuned in. Make sure you check us out on the website. And also, next week, we'll have another great program. Keep it tuned in. This is Robert Goltz signing off for the Entrepreneur Hour.